Episode 22 of the Fit Pro podcast.
Realizing, yes, I can make money that way, but do I really want to? And the answer for me was definitely no. And so my decision was easy. I had to start again, build up from ground zero, but I knew that it'd be worth it because I'll be doing something that I love, doing something that I'm passionate about. And when you're doing those two things, doing something you love and you're passionate about, that radiates into what you're doing.
Welcome back, listeners. Before we get into the show, as always, I'd like to say a few words. I've noticed a big trend lately of people listening to the podcast on the website, and that's amazing. But I don't know if you're aware or not, but podcasts are actually free on iTunes. Okay, I think a lot of people think they're paid. They're actually very, very, very free, like the freest thing that Apple has to offer. If you head to your phone, if you've got an iPhone, you already have the app installed. It comes pre-installed with every single every single Apple product. And it's just a better way to listen to podcasts. Personally, I can listen to them on the run. I can listen to them in my car. I designed this podcast so you can listen to it on the way to work or in the gym, etc. So if you're doing that already, thumbs up to you. If you're not, this is a notification that you can, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and you get it automatically downloads the episode as soon as it comes out. It's a great feature. And if you got an Android phone, you're not left out. There's a few apps. There's Stitcher Radio, which we're on. You can go to that, download it, it's free, and exactly the same features as the iPhone. Or if you're like me and you like to pay for your podcast, you can head to Pocket Cast, purely because it's a better software experience, and it just shows better notes, etc. But that is all I had to say. Enjoy episode 22, guys. I enjoyed recording this one with Neil. We're very close friends from way back. He's doing big things in South Africa. So enjoy this episode. I will chat to you at the end. Peace. Welcome back to the Fit Pro podcast. I am your host, Marvin Fayez, and today we've got a very special guest. And I know I say that every time, but this time it's a little bit more special because he's like a brother from another mother. I have Neil du Plessis on. He's an online coach and trainer out of South Africa, and I've known him for years. Neil, take a second and let the listeners know who you are personally, and then we'll get into the show.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Marvin. As you say, I am an online personal trainer / coach. I didn't really start off that way. I think if we get a little bit into my history, it'll speak for itself, because I've done a full circle in the fitness industry, I think. And I think that's pretty much the thing that distinguishes me, I think, a lot from other online coaches. But we can get into that a little bit later. I do know Marvin in a personal capacity. I had to meet him along my travels. And Marvin, I think we should talk a little bit about the start of our journey together when we embarked on the 7 C's. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we want to go back that far then. All right. So I don't know if... Look, I've said it before, but for all the listeners that don't know me too well, which shouldn't be many, because I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you've listened to a few episodes, so you know me already. But where we started, where Neil and I met, was... are we allowed to say company names, or should we bleep them?
Let's just say bleep. When we worked with bleep, and then...
All right, so... I met Neil just after I became a personal trainer here in Australia, and my first job was working for Bleep, and we actually worked overseas on the high seas for a company that basically contracted out personal trainers to work on cruise ships. Now, before you're allowed to get on that cruise ship, you have to go to Watford Junction in
the Bootcamp from hell.
The Bootcamp from hell.
Yes.
But personally, myself, I think it's one of the best growing experiences I've ever experienced, because without that, I wouldn't be who I am today, because it was such a high pressure situation. I'd never experienced anything like it before. Had you?
Nothing even close to that. I think the pressure is kind of what put me through. And for me, it was kind of the explosion. Like, as you said, you got qualified and then you went out to the 7 C's. I basically did exactly the same thing. And that boot camp, before we were actually allowed to work on the ship, was, I mean, it was life-changing. We got a lot of content in a very short amount of time. And basically what that did for me was cemented and gave me a platform to be able to use all of this knowledge that I had kind of got together over the last 6 years before that. I mean, I was basically a full-time student for 6 years before that. And I got fed up with just knowing things and not being able to use them. And I think that bootcamp where I met you, good old in Watford Junction, I think that was for me what kind of catapulted me into be able to apply everything so quickly.
And yeah, man, I think because I'd never experienced anything like that before in my life. I mean, I was a tradesman before that, so I was used to basically working on big off-road vehicles and not really talking that much, not really expressing myself in that way. And becoming a personal trainer was sort of one of the goals I had for a long time. And then this thing just came out of nowhere, and I decided to jump on board this opportunity. And we sort of met up with this amazing group of people in the UK in the middle of winter. It was freaking freezing. Actually, I have a great story for that, because I arrived in the UK at, I think it was 12 at night, right? And I had to get on the tube and go to where we were staying in Watford Junction. It took me about an hour and a half to get there. When I got there, my key card wasn't working, like my bank card, so I didn't really have money. So I thought I was going to have to sleep at the airport. And luckily my credit card worked, so I was able to buy a ticket on the tube and go all the way to Watford Junction. I got there, it was freezing. It was like 2 a.m. I shit you not. It was 2 a.m. I'm wearing literally like an Adidas jumper and some really thin track pants.
You're painting the picture for me, Marvin. Keep going.
I am freezing. I'm freezing my balls off, right? And I get off the train station and I go up to a taxi and I ask the taxi driver, "Can you take me to the YMCA?" And he's like, "No, because it's like 5 minutes down the road, so you can walk." I was like, "Really? You don't want my money? All right." So I'll walk, and I'm wheeling my my suitcase along. I don't know what temperature it is. It's freaking freezing. And I'm wheeling it along, and the handle snaps. It's that cold. So the handle to my suitcase snapped, and I'm having to carry the suitcase with like one hand and then another hand, like continuously swap, because I've got my whole life in this bag, and I don't know where I'm going on this cruise ship because you don't get told. So I've got everything, and it's heavy as shit, right? And I'm dragging it along. Even strangers look at me weird, like, "What's wrong with this dude?" And I get to the YMCA, and I'm like, "I need to get in here. I need a room." And they're like, "Sorry, we're not taking anybody in." I'm like, "What do you mean? This is where I was told to go." And they're like, wait. Are you for Bleep Company? And I'm like, "Are you for Bleep Company?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am, actually. I am." And he's like, "All right, you can come in then." I was like, "You were literally ready to turn me away because I didn't say the company's name. And I would have slept on the street." But that's my story to start the show anyway. But yeah, I'd say that experience molded me to who I am today. Not the walking in the streets in the middle of the night, but
I certainly hope not, Marvin.
But working for like that training for that company was so. I think we just should say it. Really,
No. I'm digging the bleep. It's quite funny.
It's actually quite hard to keep up. But you go into this intense environment with 24 strangers, and after, 3 weeks? Yeah, was it 3 weeks?
I think it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, after 3 weeks you also sort of disband, but within those 3 weeks you sort of get to know everybody on such a deep level, because you're going through this struggle, you're going through this intense environment together, and you all become friends. You all become friends within. It's the quickest I've made friends
you get a camaraderie that you would only find, I think, in the military. Like, that's the kind of brotherhood that we formed in those 3 weeks. And it's because Bleep takes your money, they make you do all the investment, they get you out there, and then they don't guarantee you a job. You have to sign a piece of paper saying, I am going knowing that I am not guaranteed to have a job. You have to sign a physical piece of paper saying that and send it to them before they even let you go. So that's the kind of high pressure I think that you're referring to, because it's a big investment to make for anyone that isn't interested in doing personal training on a cruise ship. If you're going to work for Bleep Company, it is a big investment, but you will definitely learn a lot. I think that's the value that myself and I think Marvin found, because you said you weren't speaking much before that, but you have to be a fantastic communicator to be a good personal trainer, and particularly an online coach. And look at you today with the podcast and myself doing basically speaking for a living now after doing personal training, because online coaching is a lot. You've got to understand the mental game that either an athlete goes through or just a regular general population client. And I think, like I said, the Bootcamp for Bleep, I think, was the platform that kind of launched me into the space, inevitably.
Yeah, the biggest takeaway for me, because look, I knew how to be a personal trainer before, well, I thought I did, and then you learn public speaking, you learn how to hold seminars, and you get pushed into a situation where you're ridiculously uncomfortable to begin with. I don't know about you, Neil, but I was, because the second day they're like, well, the first day they give you a book with all these seminars in it, and like, okay, you're doing one tomorrow. But what? I hate public speaking. I hate doing orals in school. Like, my hand would shake. I'd be damn near crying. And so they give you this book, and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to be up all night trying to learn this shit. And you are up all night.
Literally, we were. I think I have some videos from my experience there of myself, you, and David. And we were doing, to paint a picture for the audience, we were in the canteen, and it had closed probably 6 or 7 hours ago. It was a little creepy in there, and there was this tiny whiteboard on the wall, and there's myself, Marvin, and this other guy, David, and we were practicing seminars until the point where everything was just ridiculous. I mean, we were talking a little bit about Arnold Schwarzenegger before this, but we had David do us an entire seminar in an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. It was hilarious.
An entire 45-minute seminar in accent of Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was amazing. It was hilarious.
It was one of the best times of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
One of the best times, one of the worst times, because, man, I remember there was this real little skinny hallway, and we'd all be out there past 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's just studying, like trying to put in the work so that we can guarantee we get a job at the end of this, because damn hell, I'm getting a job. I'm here, I'm away from my family, it's a stressful environment, but it's that not giving up mentality, and I don't think many people, well, speaking from our class, I don't think anybody gave up, really, because, man, like you said, it's an investment, it pushes you out of your comfort zone, but that's where the magic happens, out of your comfort zone. So I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today without that intense environment. I wouldn't be on this podcast. Neil wouldn't be doing his online coaching. And I think when you look at the class of people from that, a lot of people are doing their own thing. A lot of people have started their own businesses or are working towards it. And this is years after the fact. So the work ethic sticks.
It really does. I think anyone that's interested in doing shipboard work, I think it just trains you to work on a different level. I mean, I think that's an essential component when you are doing a startup, like me starting my own business. And I don't think if I knew that drive or what that grind kind of felt like or what was even possible to get done, I don't think I would be like you said where I am today. And I think likewise for you, as you just said.
Yeah, man, and look, that's a great segue into the next section, which is, as an online coach and as an online trainer, is is that how you generate revenues today, Neil? And how did you get to that stage? What did you do before?
Well, mostly my basic expenses are now covered by my online personal training, which is fantastic. It gives me the opportunity to work from home. I found working from home is kind of where you need to be if you want to be developing new projects and moving your business forward. Getting to where I was, as we said, we worked on the cruise ships. From the cruise ships, I actually got in a passenger on board, offered me a job working in the UAE, so Dubai. He wanted me to be a fitness manager there. After some negotiations, I flew myself over there, and within 2 weeks, because of the training that I'd received and kind of the work ethic that I'd learned, I sent the partners an email, made a few phone calls, and asked them why their revenue stream was, so limited. And they actually bumped me up from a fitness manager to a general manager, which then moved me into a whole nother kind of spectrum where I was looking after 2,000 members. So coming from a personal trainer on a ship to having a member base of 2,000 people, of having to manage managers and then obviously report to directors and the actual partners. That for me was just that next level up to kind of give me the confidence to know that I can run my own business, because I'd kind of been given this amazing opportunity, this amazing set of circumstances where I basically had company revenue at my fingertips. I was within a couple of months kind of calling the shots, and the numbers were speaking for themselves. They were actually going up, and I found myself enjoying the coaching of teaching the managers how to do, maybe the sales manager and the kind of what he should be doing with his team, and then speaking to the fitness managers and tell them what they should be doing with their team. And that sparked off an interest for me in educating people. And that's what I found, what I didn't even know about myself, that is one of my very, very deep passions, which is what kind of translates now into my online coaching. I have a deep need to kind of want that person to be better and not really rely on me, get to a point where they're actually making a lifestyle change, where they understand what they need to do because of what I've coached them to do, and not just kind of giving them any sort of generic plan and say, follow this fitness plan because I say so, or follow this eating plan because I say so. And I think that's one of the biggest selling points for myself, that I'm not trying to teach someone to just follow blindly, but I'm actually coaching them and giving them the why factor of what they're actually doing on a day-to-day.
And I think with you, Neil, especially, you're a great teacher. You proved that when we were in that intensive. But when it comes to your online training, I think people need to realize that there's not a lot of trainers out there, not a lot of coaches out there that have your best interest in mind. And there's a few of them that are putting out the generic, just cookie cutter routines for everybody in nutrition, because they've got the name, and the client can go, oh, I'm being trained by so and so, versus the real trainers like Neil, who will do the customized programs for specific people that will get results. And I think that all these testimonials, I've seen a few on Facebook, but the results are astounding when you actually, again, make it customized towards what the person is looking for and what they need. So it's going for depth rather than just pure massive reach and getting the numbers. I'd rather have 10 people that I can change their lives versus 100 people that maybe 1 or 2 get results. So I think what you're doing, Neil, especially with your business, especially with your coaching, is adding that credibility back into that space. There's not a lot of credibility. Do you agree?
Absolutely, Marvin. Exactly what you've said. I make tailored fitness programs for all of my clients. So if, for example, I've got a client in Chicago that came from basically no resistance training work whatsoever. I've got her to start doing and she likes to train at home, which is perfect because if you're doing online training, I can make you a program where if you have a flaw, I can do just pure body weight exercises with you. If you have certain pieces of equipment that maybe have been sitting in your garage for too long, I can help you with that. But what I've done with her is I've built her a foundation just by training at home with basically a mat and only doing body weight exercises, to molding her shoulder work, for an example, to be able to sustain a load above the head. Because my next plan for her was now to move into kettlebell training, because it's relatively inexpensive. Anyone can get themselves a kettlebell, and there's almost unlimited ways that you can use that piece of equipment. And so that's how my tailored approaches come for her, because she actually asked me to step it up. She wanted to step it up to the next level. I've never been the one pushing her and saying, oh no, you need to get more work in. But naturally, because we've taken this journey together, she's asked me, what is the best way forward from here? And I recommend the kettlebells. She has a set of kettlebells now. And because of kind of the handstand work that I've been doing with her, she can now perform most of the essential kettlebell movements. And that's just a short story about our progression over the last kind of 6 months. And I'll definitely have the progress photos up, but you must see this girl is looking fantastic.
And that is awesome, dude. I think that since the online space has sort of increased so much, you can... Well, what's the words I'm trying to get? This is one take, and we sometimes forget things. But I think it's quite amazing that you're in South Africa right now, and she's in Chicago, and you're changing her life.
I think it's pretty special. Sometimes I have to take a step back and think, if I hadn't actually put so much thought into this and actually wanted to be that kind of coach, kind of a quality over quantity kind of person, I'm looking to build a brand. So I want the most positive association with that brand possible. And I'm learning all of the principles myself before I then, like I said, because I'm passionate about education, kind of being able to teach that to the next trainer. And then that's my plan for building my business, and basically the start of what I would like to become an empire.
And that we're on the same page. We want to create an empire that actually, I mean, it's inspiring. It really is. And I think when you talk about quality, I think a lot of PTs like ourselves sort of forget that, yeah, you can go and work in a gym, like a commercial gym, and train X amount of people every single day and just do that. Or you can do your own thing, become way more valuable, help way more people on a deeper level. And when it comes down to, let's say money, when it comes down to money of owning your own studio or owning your own business, you don't need a lot of numbers to live comfortably. You don't need what the commercial gyms need, because they have all those ridiculous overheads. For example, I've got a friend who runs a studio, and he's got 250 members. It's $1 million a year.
Wow.
Right? Versus, I've got a Jets down the road that costed $1 million to build, but has to have a consistent 1,500 members in there every single year to make $100,000.
Gee.
Okay, so which one would you rather? It's all about education, guys. It's all about knowing your stuff and knowing your value. Because Neil, you are valuable. You know this. I know this. Your clients know this, and that's why they trust you, because the amount of experience you have now when you focus it in on what you're doing, makes a real difference. But when you're a personal trainer, there's the ups and downs. There's the ups and downs of things. And I like to let the listeners know that it's not always going to be up, and when it is down, it's something everybody goes through. So Neil, has there ever been a moment when you've gone, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to go do something, I want to do something else, and what's helped you stay on track?
It's funny that you say what's helped me stay on track, because I think doing just that helped me stay on track. I think the best way that someone learns something is trying it for themselves. And what I did after my experience in Dubai, because it is such a mass market kind of opening up there, and there's so many different registration processes, and there's a lot of paperwork, and there's a lot of things that you need to know to thrive in the UAE area. What actually ended up happening was the gym lost their training license, and subsequently I lost my visa, and I had to basically go back home. And it was quite a kick in the shins, because earning in Dubai is tax-free, which is fantastic, and I kind of got myself accustomed to that lifestyle. And it went from that amazing lifestyle, living in the UAE, having my own apartment, like right in the JLT area, to pretty much nothing. And I panicked, and I started doing, I basically hooked up with one of my friends friends of a friend, and whose father is a very successful entrepreneur. And his mindset is exactly like his father's. And what we did together was think of something that would maybe be just generate us as much revenue as possible. And we tried all sorts of different business plans just to kind of try get back on track to get to that because it became a comfort zone of having that paycheck coming in and day out. And after doing that, I think I pursued different options. Let's call them different options for about 2 years. It got me back to the point where realizing, yes, I can make money that way, but do I really want to? And the answer for me was definitely no. And so my decision was easy. I had to start again, build up from ground zero, but I knew that it'd be worth it, because I'll be doing something that I love, doing something that I'm passionate about. And when you're doing those two things, doing something you love and you're passionate about, that radiates into what you're doing. And that is the reason I think I'm becoming more and more successful. I mean, I've done no real magic online or whatever marketing, but through word of mouth, my client base has just grown exponentially.
Absolutely, man. And your point of getting, actually doing the shit stuff to realize that sometimes you need to be reminded that there is a better way, that especially if you got entrepreneur qualities like a lot of personal trainers and people in the fitness space do. We want to do it for the lifestyle, and then you also realize you want to do it because you don't want a boss, and then you realize there's better ways. And then when you sort of fail, let's say they are failures, when you go, oh shit, I've fucked up here, or I don't have as many clients as I should, and I'm not paying the bills, and etc. And then you run off to do for example, me, what I did. Very similar to what you did, where I was a personal trainer on the cruise ship, then I came back and I kept being a personal trainer, but the lifestyle side of things wasn't as good as it needed to be. I wasn't paying my bills. I was asking to borrow money, so I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm going back to what I did before, which was being a tradesman, being a heavy-duty mechanic. Did that, made a shitload of money. I still wasn't fulfilled. There was something in the back of my mind going, you don't want to work for somebody, do you? Really? You don't want to do this every single day for the rest of your life. And it put me back on track to the point where, yeah, I saw this podcast as not necessarily an escape, but a business that I could do that would fulfill my needs, that would fulfill my values. And moving forward, there's so much I can do now. And the more I work my day job, the more I hate it, because I know I've got this in the back that's constantly growing and moving. And yeah, that day job's going to be gone in the next few months. I can feel it. If not the next few weeks, I can feel it. Because when you have those entrepreneur qualities, you really, I don't know about you, but I hate working for somebody else and not having control of my destiny, of where I'm allowed to go. I hate being told these are the guidelines and you have to stay in here. I really do. And that was the end of part 1 of this interview with Neil. Part 2 will be out next week. If you want more Neil, make sure you head to trainwithneil.com. That is trainwithneil.com to check out what he has to offer, as well as there's links to his social networks so you can communicate with him better. That being said, guys, the weekend's coming up. Make sure you enjoy it. And an easy way to enjoy your weekend is by supporting entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. If you haven't already, make sure you head to alphastateapparel.com.au and check out their wares. Check out what they have to offer. They're killing the game right now locally, and they're bringing out a new tee soon, a new long sleeve. They keep dropping new styles, fresh styles. It looks great on you. It looks great on me, so I love it. And guys, if you're looking for something to do on the weekend, I might be an amateur movie reviewer soon. I've watched so many. Sausage Party is fucking hilarious. That being said, guys, I've actually got I'm going to the Perth Fitness Expo this weekend, so I might have some stuff for you this weekend. I might release an episode this weekend. Guys and girls and listeners around the world, thank you for tuning into the FitPro podcast, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.